You left. So why does it still feel like they're still here? Why do you hear their voice anytime you're trying to make a decision? Why do you wonder if maybe, just maybe, you were the problem after all? And the one that confuses me the most, why do most people miss the person who broke them? Well, if you've ever asked yourself those questions, I want you to know two things before we begin today's podcast episode. One, missing someone isn't always a proof that they were good for you. Sometimes your mind is still trying to recover from what you went through. Two, narcissism doesn't only appear in relationships or romantic life, right? It also sometimes appears in friendship, workplace, and even in your family. If you missed the part one of this podcast episode, here's what we talked about. If every meal in a particular restaurant keeps giving you food poisoning, at some point you will stop eating there, right? You're not going to go on interviewing the chef to find out what is happening in the kitchen before you protect your health. Now, your relationship deserves that same wisdom. A narcissist is not someone who thinks they are attractive. A narcissist is not someone who likes to take selfies. A narcissist is not someone who is confident. And a narcissist is definitely not someone who is selfish from time to time. Narcissistic behavior at its core revolves around an inflated sense of self-importance, an excessive need for admiration, difficulty empathizing with people and other people's emotions, and a pattern of relating with people in ways that only serves their own narcissistic need. When this pattern becomes severely inflexible and persistent across all areas of a person's life, a professional may now diagnose them as narcissistic personality disorder, also known as NPD. Notice I said a professional. That's because diagnosis belongs to professionals, not podcasters. Now, if you've not seen the part one, pause this video because you might need it. Go and check out the part one, then come back and you can now listen to this. You'll thank me later. So, as promised on our last episode, by the end of today's conversation, you will understand why leaving isn't the hardest part of surviving narcissistic relationship. You can still miss someone who repeatedly hurt you, and what trauma bonding truly looks like, and how it is so difficult to break from emotional manipulation. You would also learn how to rebuild your confidence, your identity, and your peace. So let's get right into it, shall we? Hey lovelies, welcome back to another practical, insightful conversation on the Floripedia podcast, a community where we help you grow, glow, and get things done while improving one life at a time. I am your host, Florabella. On today's episode, we're going to talk about recovery process, because I think one of the biggest misconceptions a lot of people have about healing is that it begins the day you leave. It doesn't. We just say things like, why are you still in that relationship? Just leave, walk away, block them, as though the moment you leave, maybe physical distance is going to automatically mean emotional freedom. I wish that was a simple truth, but it's a lie. Sometimes leaving is essentially the easiest part. Sometimes the real battle begins when you've packed your bag and left. Because now there is no more argument. There is nobody trying to distract you or talk things down your head. No more text, no more emotional roller coaster. Just silence. And silence has a funny way of bringing out every unresolved emotion to the surface. Because now you are in your own thoughts. That's when you begin to question yourself. You begin to ask the things you never asked. Like, why do I still miss them? Why am I crying over someone who treated me badly? Why do I still want to call them at 2 a.m. in the night when they did this to me? Why do I feel guilty for choosing myself? If you've ever asked any of this question, don't be too rash on yourself. Don't rush to judge yourself just yet. You're not alone. It's an evidence that your emotion went through a lot and you're trying to heal. Most importantly, your nervous system is still trying to process and understand what happened. And it is okay to miss someone. Yeah? I just want you to sit with that question for a bit. Why you miss that person? It's always the path to healing. Most people on the outside often don't understand this because they've not been through that trauma, right? They say things like, after everything this person did to you, are you supposed to still love them? Are you supposed to miss them? Just move on. Forget about them. As though love is like an off and on switch that you can just boom, off anytime you like. It's not. True emotion comes with attachment, and those attachments don't disappear the same day the relationship ends, because we are just humans, and humans do not work like that. We are not robots. 1 minute we're in love, 1 minute we're out of love. It takes a lot of time. It takes prolonged effort to actually decide that, oh, I don't want to do this, I don't want to love this person anymore. It is very confusing because your heart keeps remembering the hope of, the future, the incredible life that you were supposed to have, that you had to let go of. And many people don't actually miss that relationship. They miss the probability of what they believe could have become. And that's the truth. That's the irony of it. They miss the version of that person in the beginning that they met during the beginning stage of that relationship. The one who listened, the one who laughed at their jokes, the one who promised them forever. And when people say, I just want them back, I often wonder if it's the version of the relationship that they portrayed before they started manipulating you, or the version that came after the manipulation. The funny thing is, it's actually the one that comes before the manipulation, because that's what the heart wants to remember. And most times, you're not grieving the relationship you lost, but the future you imagine, because you've built castles on air. You've already talked about so many things and you cannot let go of it.
Hey lovely, sorry for cutting you short, but a little birdie told me that 80% of our viewers are yet to subscribe to the Flirpedia podcast. Imagine how sad that made me feel. Please, if you've been enjoying this podcast episode so far, kindly subscribe, like, and follow us on all social media platforms, and you can even leave a review on whatever platform you're listening from. This would help us not only provide more good relevant content for you, but also reach out to more people who needs to hear this. Help us build a community one day at a time. I trust you'll do that for me, right? Okay, I'm going to trust you on that. Kindly subscribe right now and see you on the episode. Let's continue.
So now, what is trauma bonding? This one is a psychological concept that seems complicated, but in real life, it's not actually complicated. Trauma bonding is not really, it's about becoming emotionally attached through circle of pain and relief. Let me explain. Imagine someone hurts you, and then they comfort you, then criticize you, and then they praise you again. Then later, they push you away. That pull and push, over time, your brain begins to associate yourself or associate that process with relief. You start feeling relief for the pain. A little pushing under the water, and then they bring you out again and help you to breathe and take you back. Eventually, you stop questioning why you are drowning in the first place, and you become grateful for every breath that you take. And that's what trauma bonds does to you, and that's why it's very powerful. When someone consistently does something to you, they are inconsistent. Psychologically, you become fascinated with that inconsistency because of the reward that comes, because reward sometimes it's unpredictable. And that's why you see people get used to gambling, they get used to bets and stuff like that, because the win is not guaranteed, but the hope that you would win is what keeps people going back. It keeps pulling them back in. Every apology becomes another chance. Every good weekend feels like a proof that they've changed. Every affectionate message convinces you that with time, this person will be different. And therefore, before you realize it, you're no longer staying because you're happy. You're staying because you are hopeful. And hope, oh my dear, hope is a powerful element and a prison that attaches you to stay the same. Now let's talk about why you keep thinking about them even after you've left. Have you noticed something strange? When a healthy relationship ends, most times people remember them as a whole. The good, the bad, and even the ordinary days, right? When you think about a healthy relationship and they ask you, oh, what happened during your last relationship? You're like, oh, this person was good to me. Oh, this person started behaving this way. Oh, this one, this one. But have you noticed that when a narcissistic relationship ends, you remember bits of it? The first kiss, the birthday surprise, the vacation, the occasional conversation. Your brain keeps replaying highlights rather than the whole picture because your brain selects all the painful memory and throw them away, because that's how our mind works sometimes pain can be overwhelming for our brain. So unfortunately, it makes us have selective amnesia. I call it selective amnesia because the brain can decide on what it wants to take note of and what it wants to let go of, and that can become very unhealthy because you're not trying to stay angry, you're trying to erase the bad memories and keep the good ones, and you become open to going back to them again, forgetting what they've done. One single day of loneliness, you remember the flower, you forget the manipulation. Another day, you remember the laughter, you forget how anxious they made you every single time your phone rang, because you know they are going to ask, who is that calling you? Are you cheating on me? Healing requires you to tell yourself the whole story. Let's answer one common question most people ask after surviving a traumatic experience. Why do I feel like I lost myself? The truth is, whenever I think about this question, it touches me a whole lot, because when people leave narcissistic relationship, they really say, I lost them. Eventually, they say things like, oh, I don't know who I am anymore. I can't even tell who I was before I met this person. And it makes perfect sense because you spent months, maybe even years, adjusting yourself to someone else's idea of them being comfortable. You monitor your words, you monitor your reaction, you monitor your facial expression, you stop wearing certain clothes just to make them feel comfortable. You stop talking about certain things or certain people just because it causes argument. You cannot even talk about your male friends anymore or bring up your female friends because you feel like, this person will think you have something to do with them. You slowly become an edited version of yourself. Not because anyone forced you overnight, but because survival often look like adaptation, right? And the scary thing about adaptation is that it becomes a norm. It becomes normal. You start feeling like you are okay when deep down you are not. You wake up one morning and you just realize that you don't know who you are anymore. But guess what? You did not just disappear one day. It took one apology at a time. It took one silence at a time. And eventually, you cannot even remember how you started in the first place, how everything began, and where everything just fell apart. And that's when the journey starts, right? Asking yourself this question is the beginning of healing. Now, let me say something a lot of people might not agree with. When talking about narcissistic behavior, a lot of people make the mistake to assume that it only exists in romantic relationship. It doesn't. Some people meet narcissists in marriage. Maybe they are sweet lovers or sweet partners, and after you get married, you find out that they are narcissistic. Sometimes it could be in your family. Sometimes you encounter them in an office where every conversation feels like a battlefield and your dignity is on the line every single time. Sometimes it could be in your friendship and you spend years trying to earn their approval, or maybe amongst parents, parents you're trying to please, and you become so attached to pleasing them just to feel competent. But whether it is in your relationship, in your family, or in your love life, or wherever it is you meet this, you realize that they look remarkably similar, right? You over explain, you apologize even when it's not your fault. You carry guilt that does not belong to you because you feel like you owe them. And eventually, it becomes like a hustle every single day. You try to please someone else just because when they are anxious, everyone else is anxious. When they're disappointed, everyone feels responsible for that. And without even noticing, your nervous system learns a dangerous lesson. My safety depends on keeping someone else's emotion in check or stable. And that's a very uncomfortable way to live. And unfortunately, many people don't realize this until it's too late. Whether in your relationship or in your personal life, it is not a healthy way to live. Now, why can't you trust yourself anymore? Because that's what happens. You notice that it becomes so hard for you to take simple decisions. You're trying to go to a supermarket to make some product purchase and you start second guessing yourself. You write an email and read it like 6 times before you send it in, and you keep struggling to find out if you are rude or you are not rude. Someone asks you if you would like to eat and what you'd like to eat, and your automatic response is, I don't mind. Whatever you want to eat is okay by me. People see this as low self-confidence. I think it's something deeper. It's not just about confidence. When you spend months or even years of your reality being questioned, you start dismissing your own instinct. You slowly stop treating your own judgment as trustworthy. Imagine if every answer you gave in school was followed by someone saying, no, that's wrong. Eventually, what does your brain do? Eventually, you start to hesitate before speaking because you're beginning to feel like, maybe I will say something wrong again. Maybe it's even wrong. I don't know if I'm correct. It teaches intelligent people to disown their own wisdom. And healing means relearning something you were never supposed to forget. Your inner voice deserves a seat at the front table again. So at first it might look incredibly ordinary. Things like choosing a restaurant without asking for permission. Things like maybe wearing a nice fancy clothes or color of dress without asking someone or caring about someone else's criticism. Or posting without wondering who might disagree with you or not. Or maybe saying no without writing 3 paragraphs as to why you're saying no. At first, it might look incredibly ordinary. Things like choosing your own restaurant without asking for permission, wearing the color of clothes you want to wear, posting your opinion without wondering what someone would say or who would disagree, and saying no without writing 3 paragraph explanation as to why you're saying no. Those things don't sound like revolutionary acts, but for someone rebuilding themselves, growing their confidence, they are milestones. So here's one thing I need you to know. When you've been through an emotionally down place, forgiveness and reconciliation are 2 different things. The truth is, I can forgive someone who hurts me, but my dear, I am not going to forget. And I am not going to reconcile. Because I forgive you does not mean I want you in my space again. Please, stay far away from me. Reconciliation requires 2 people, right? It requires accountability. It requires change. It requires consistency. It requires trust to be built over time. While forgiveness, you can forgive someone and still recognize that they are not emotionally safe for you to keep around, for them to have access to your life. Those are 2 different things. I think it is okay for you to forgive someone and still choose not to let them close to you. And I don't know why a lot of people force people to want them to bring people close just because they've apologized. What makes you think I want you close again? I feel like this is wisdom. It's saying, I hope for the best for you, but I also hope for the best for me. Now, what does healthy love look like? Because after an unhealthy relationship, people become very suspicious. They get used to roller coaster. They get used to inconsistency. When these things are not there, they assume that there is no love, there is no chemistry. And it even feels boring sometimes. If someone respects your boundaries, sometimes you might feel unfamiliar to you because you might start feeling like, this person does not love me, because you've been accustomed to the love bombing, the intensity, the roller coaster of off and on. And sometimes healthy relationship can be very simple. It could be enjoying yourself with your partner, even with the mundane things, things that do not carry weight, and yet you guys are genuinely happy, right? And you don't feel like one mistake will cost your entire relationship, because you feel safe, you feel secure, you feel seen, you feel like a human. And it is okay to disagree, it is okay to apologize, it's okay to laugh and rest and simply exist without constantly trying to manage someone else's emotion, because they don't put that emotional baggage on you. They had a bad day, then you have to pay for it. Like, why? Okay? Healthy people know how to manage their stress level. When they need you, they come to you for rest and peace of mind, and just simply telling you about their day, but they do not expect you to carry the burden of their problem. Now let's dissect the most asked question of the day. How does healing begin? The truth is, healing doesn't start with becoming a different person. It starts by creating enough safety internally and externally for your real self, or the real you, to reemerge. And it starts by one, stabilizing yourself and your nervous system, prioritizing sleep, healthy meal, hydration, gentle movement, and all that. Because when your body starts to feel safe internally, it starts to radiate that externally. 2, reduce exposure to people that harm you. Limit contact to those that hurt you. Set clear boundaries and make sure that you avoid those places that keep reopening that wound. 3, learn to start journaling. I can't say this enough. Journaling is a huge part of healing journey. Maybe one day we'll talk about how to properly journal, not the regular kind of journaling, the one that helps you heal and rebuild yourself from within. 4, reduce self-inflicted crisis by making simple decisions on your own. Maybe you want to eat, you want to do something, you want to wear certain clothes. You do not start outsourcing them to other people. Start taking decisions for yourself, because it starts to put in this thought that you can finally trust your own emotions, you can trust your own mindset. Number 5, seek support and practice self-compassion, because healing is something that would take a whole lot from you. When guilt shows up, remember, it is often conditioning, not the truth. Protect yourself and allow yourself to seek for help when you need one, from your trusted circle, from your family, and even from this community. Here on the Floripedia community, we are just one step away. If you need help, if you need to talk to anyone, and if you need your story to be heard, this community is big enough to help. Honestly, if you have any question and you need help, you can contact us directly or send us an email on support@floripedia.com, or you leave a comment below. Sometimes it can be hard, and when you know that you have someone in your corner or people in your corner, I think that would actually relieve you of more stress. How do you know you're healing? Healing does not start the day you stop thinking about them. Healing is noticing that your decisions does not revolves around their influence anymore. It's making plans without wondering what this person or someone else would think or react. It's trusting your own memories again. It's saying, that hurts me, without apologizing for the feeling. It's knowing that yes, you were once hurt and you forgive yourself for it. It's from recognizing manipulation on the first time, not on the 5th time after they've showed you Shege Pro Max. And the truth is, will you stop attracting these people? The answer is probably no. But the thing is, after you've understood how to protect yourself and you've healed and you've done the work, you will no longer choose them. Because they might want to disguise at first, but after you realize what's happening, you will take precautionary method. You're going to safeguard your heart like glue, and you're going to be fine. So whatever it is that you're trying to heal from, always remember, You may struggle sometimes, but it does not define the rest of your life. Whatever it is that you've been through, you're not too sensitive. You're not too difficult. You are not impossible to love. You survived an environment that should have broke you, and you're still standing. Trust yourself again, and one day your healing process is going to grow one day at a time, without any pretense, without trying to act like it did not happen to you. So, if you're listening to today's episode of this podcast and you have a narcissist as a friend, a partner, and other kind of people around you that are controlling, that are toxic, or maybe you are even the one, this is not to shame anyone. This is to most people that have gone through traumatic experience, that are trying to heal. And I hope that this episode helps you and gives you that confidence that you've been looking for, and helps you find yourself again. I hope that this would reach out to every single person carrying one baggage or the other, and send this to someone who really needs this. And if you're listening to me right now, don't worry. The fact that you're listening to this right now means you already understand what is happening. And that is the beginning of your healing journey. Learning how to acknowledge what you've been through and actually taking steps towards healing is one step. So take it easy with yourself. Do not rush yourself. Do not pressure yourself. And do not make anybody feel like your opinions are not valid, because they definitely are, my love. So thank you for listening to today's episode of the Florpedia podcast. I am so glad you stayed till this moment, and I really hope to see you on our next episode again. Same time, same place, 6 p.m. every Sunday. See you on the next episode. Catch ya. Bye, lovely.